average for Detlef Schrempf, when you look at what's been going on, is way below his regular season average. 19-12, field goal percentage not nearly as good as the regular season. He's also turning the ball over. The Pacers would like to see him do the job he did on April 16th when they broke a 6-game Knicks winning streak. Detlef Schrempf was sensational in that game, driving the ball to the basket, shooting the long jump shots. He drew a flagrant foul on Charles Smith on one particular move, which led to a Pacer 10-point lead. Then he hit the long jumper on Charles. 27-point game for Detlef Schrempf. Shot the ball well, rebounded the ball, and passed the ball. 8 assists in that game.
At center, 7 feet, 240 from Georgetown, number 33, P.Ewing. And what? At the board, 6'10", 230 from Washington, number 11, Detlef Schrempf. At center, 7'4", 265 from Marist, number 45, Smits. And at the other guard, 6'7", 185 from UCLA, number 31, Reggie Miller.
Those tall guys.
So the Knicks are awarded possession. Starks pass deflected by Rivers and saved. Nice play by Davis. The groin injury. He did not practice yesterday, gave it a shot today. And Ewing intercepts the pass intended for Smits. Doc Rivers, John Starks in the backcourt, Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Charles Smith up front, and Ewing.
6 out of 8 matchups, however, have been broken up, and the home team has lost the advantage.
And the team that has looked most impressive, the Chicago Bulls. Here's Schrempf. It counts, and the foul.
Well, that is the most significant field goal of the game, you might say, in many ways, because it can get this man loose. He is the key to the success of the Pacers here tonight. Pat Riley's got to be delighted. His team is obviously, to use his favorite word, focused.
Smits. Well, Smits had the room. Smith and Schrempf involved in a little wrestling match. Nothing serious develops. Jim Clark, the official, eyeing it. Here's Ewing, and the Knicks now lead by the score of 15-5. And the Knicks have hit 8 of their first 9. Schrempf and tipped home by Miller. Reggie Miller getting inside.
Crossing out going on in that playbook tonight.
Here's Miller getting inside. And again the tip. This time it was Smits getting his. Also a technical foul on Charles Smith.
Climbing over Smits.
Things getting very rough here in this first quarter. It's been very physical. Knicks shooting at 10 of 16. Pacers have been off. Schrempf. Well, Detlef Schrempf. And then go out in the first round. Last year they came on, finished at 40 and 42. Basket will count. Move as they dealt Chuck Person and Michael Williams to Minnesota for Pooh Richardson and Sam Mitchell. Sam Mitchell has not contributed much. Here's Miller on the drive. So the Pacers battling back.
They shot the ball so well, there weren't that many.
Ewing with the drop step. Yes. Knicks for Patrick Ewing. 2.5 remaining in the first quarter. Schrempf gets inside for the reverse. So Detlef Schrempf.
He's also, I'm sure, learning from the veteran behavior of Tony Campbell, who works very hard. Even though he's out of the rotation these days, Tony's always ready.
Reggie Miller hits the 3. Anthony is back. Miller lost it. Oakley. Charles Oakley missing on the layup. Back comes Miller. So the Pacers move within 2.
They hit a defensive man. That's what he always expects to find around the basket. He lost focus of the rim.
Here's Ewing. Patrick Ewing on the recovery. I would stick a couple, and that usually is the signal that his reign has concluded. Nice pass, and Schrempf has 9 points. Detlef Schrempf, final seconds of the quarter. Smits to the open McLeod, and he hits the three.
He just had a long one to warm up. But he will remain on the floor. Bob Hill told me before the game he's the kind of guy that works out of that rebounding sequence.
Earlier on this game night, Bob.
Today when you arrived, not bad, guys.
Yeah, not bad. Better than we have for the Garden. It's great to come see the Knicks away from home, and hopefully they'll win and we can wave this broom all day.
Richardson has checked back in. Ewing off balance, yes, and it counts. Beautiful shot by Ewing, who is
Very difficult shot execution by Ewing. One foot in the air, one on the ground, and he just can that beautiful
appearance at the foul line. Argues with Jack Madden. Knicks by 5. Schrempf posting up. Smits on a quick release. And Ewing broke it up. Good play by Ewing. And Ewing finishes it off. What a pass from Mason.
It was a shovel beauty by Mason.
Now a timeout is being called. Here's another look at that incredible pass from Anthony Mason.
Well, begun by Ewing jumping out, stealing that ball. Mason loves to pass, and he's very good at it. Patrick Ewing is certainly in the flow, both ends of the court. Defense started there. Jumped in front of Smits, no foul, kept running. Anthony Mason with the shovel pass, and Ewing enjoyed that dunk.
12-2 run to get the lead. Pacers did lead by 2 briefly. Here's Miller, Reggie Miller.
And preceding that.
5 points. Rick Smits, 73% free throw shooter. The boards, 7 rebounds for Ewing, 6 for Oakley. Here's Mason, Ewing, yes. Knicks 49, the base. And Doc comes off the game high 13 assists on Sunday at the Garden. They double up on Schrempf. Well, Detlef Schrempf has 11.
Defensive boards once again.
Schrempf posting up Mason. Richardson for 3. I should say Miller hitting the 3. And as I say that, Starks throws the pass away for turnover number 8 committed by the Knicks. And Reggie Miller is able to convert. Knicks 51. Washington in his 8th NBA season. Shotted by Davis.
Well, I've just got notified that Vern Fleming is out for the rest of the game.
Knicks 55, the Pacers 51. Smits saw the opening.
Perfect move.
Here's Starks. That was a 3-point attempt. Starks able to get it back. Smith open. Yes. Charles Smith giving. Shot clock at 8. Here's Miller.
Most unusual reaction by them, showing their disappointment in John's
Foolish move by Starks. Lost his cool. John Starks emerging as
resist any longer with a very poor response to Reggie Miller.
Here's Schrempf. And the Pacers. And it led to Starks making contact. Looked to be a headbutt, and he was immediate. Indiana with its biggest lead. It is a margin of
His absence turned them around. It's a bad sign for them.
Well, from an emotional point of view, it has turned. Schrempf. Pacers by 6. Ewing is rejected by Smits.
Miller showing unusual discipline, waiting for his teammates.
Miller with a gorgeous crossover dribble. And the Ewing from deep. Yes.
Deep it is. Boy, that was a good 20.
At the foul line. Ewing, her played earlier and was not effective. In fact, he was lifted quickly.
Well, he only. Oh, wow. 7'4" man. Maybe he's 300 of this team tonight.
Indiana leads by 7. Anthony had it knocked away. The steal with Richardson and Miller combining. Kenny Williams on the floor for the first time for Indiana. Alley-oop for Davis. Miller for Davis. Since the ejection of John Starks, Knicks outscored. Now 17-4. Rick Smits
Creating defensive pressure. On that handoff, Rick Smits with the open shot at 7'4". It's difficult to create pressure on him.
His first appearance of the game. Shot clock at 7. Reggie Miller. Another spectacular shot by Miller.
Reggie Miller with all kinds of ability, going left, switching back to the right hand, off balance, and throwing up a beautiful soft touch.
Andres outrout with Walt Clyde Frazier from Market Square Arena, Indianapolis. And Smits able to go glass.
As well, but he's choosing Greg now. Good chance for Greg, who's had big ones against the Pacers this year.
Miller off balance, able to hit on the spin. Since the John Starks ejection, Indiana has outscored the Knicks 27-10. Schrempf going right to the traffic, and he is fouled.
When you have a mouth like Schrempf does now, it looks like a piece of cotton under his lip. You know, it's kind of like you're wearing a trophy in a game like this. You're tough, and that's what Detlef is giving off now in his physical reactions.
Three-point play.
He's working very well inside the foul line, using his 6'10" height. Has driven home to him. Don't hesitate when you get that ball and allow the defenders to gang up.
From the line, he has 25 points. Miller has 28. Smits with 21.
Target tonight in all of those areas, as he has become the NBA All-Star that he was named earlier this season. And no sign of it tonight. He's delivered the ball up court time and again successfully, penetrating, dishing off beautifully.
Setting up Miller for 3.
Miller turned and gave the Knicks bench a message as well.
Interference, but the basket will count, and the Knicks are down by 17. Smits. Well, Rick Smits with the quick release. He's been seeing some daylight and ejection of John Starks. Here's Davis, and back comes Richardson. Miller, fouled by Rivers. The basket counts.
To the game, all of a sudden he faces Miller, who's in full gear here in a one-on-one situation. Miller at 6'7". Doc tries to stop him. Miller makes a terrific move.
And Reggie Miller hearing the chant from the crowd. 34 for Miller. The fight which resulted in the one-game suspension to Michael Jordan.
Well, ironically, Jordan and Bird were the biggest trash talkers, but it was never seemed to have been accepted as anger. But now it's do something about next season.
Rick Smits with 25 points. Patrick Ewing turned back. Ewing on the recovery and then goes down.
Game earlier in the third quarter, Reggie Miller saw Dale Davis in a mismatch and got the ball to Davis, who is a terrific leaper. Dale didn't score.
Wiry and strong, though.
At 6'7", and the guy is as strong.
Points for Miller. Reggie in his 6th year out of UCLA.
Took control of the game.
Chuck, you have many talents, but that was certainly one of them. Is it something you helped Reggie with while you were here in Indianapolis?
Reggie can hold his own. He's good at that also, so it's a big part of his game, and he showed it today.
Thanks a lot, Chuck. Back to you, Marv.
Putting the score at 107-88. Indiana on top with 3:20 remaining in the game. Dale Davis beating Herb Williams tonight, despite the fact that they've averaged over 12,000 per game. Dreiling for 3, and that will cap it.
Banks' player of tonight's game was Reggie Miller. At times he was in that often sought-after zone. 14 of 22. He hit from everywhere for 36 points, 3 rebounds, and a couple of assists to boot. Reggie Miller doing it from all over the floor. The big story here, 59-35 was the outscored margin that the Knicks faced after the ejection of John Starks. And not only did Reggie Miller do it with scoring, he did it with some nifty passes, great kisses off the glass, and drawing John Starks into that trash-talking episode that led to the headbutt early in the third quarter. Back here, and I believe Reggie Miller is making his way over to our broadcast position. It'll be interesting to hear what Reggie has to say about his comments to the Knicks bench when he left the game. And Reggie, step right in. You were in that amazing zone, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But I spoke to Chuck Person in the fourth quarter, and I said, Chuck, this is a fantasy. Trash talking turned the game around as dramatically as this, didn't it?
Well, there was really no trash talking. I just think tempers kind of got flared.
Reggie, you told me that today. That was. Come on.
It was just tempers got flared, and John's a very competitive guy, and we're both out here trying to win. They're trying to end the series, and we're trying to continue it. And there's just things got out of hand, and he took it a little bit further than expected. And that's all. I hope nothing comes of this. I hope there's no suspension, because I love to see him out here Thursday.
It's interesting. When Malik lost his playbook, there were a couple of things that were said. Tony Campbell plays, we win. That happened tonight. You said trash talk to John Starks, and we'll take him out of his game. And John told me today that in Game 2, he didn't let that happen. But tonight, the scouting report and the playbook proved to be true.
No, you can't believe everything you read.
We can tonight.
Well,
tell me about the zone you were in. I mean, you wanted the ball, you wanted to shoot, you were shooting from everywhere and hitting from everywhere.
Well, when you get in one of those zones when everything is going for you, guys are getting me the ball in the right places. Teammates are setting great picks, and things are falling for me.
The critical moment, obviously, you outscored the Knicks 59-35 after John Starks was ejected. Were you hurt when he came up and gave you the headbutt?
Yeah, I was really surprised. He hit me right in my mouth. So I was just more surprised than anything. And then afterwards, when I heard that they threw him out, I was surprised. I just thought it was going to be a technical foul.
Was this a sequence of you were going back and forth at each other, or did you give him one good one-liner?
I don't talk trash.
Okay.
I keep telling you that. I'm a good guy.
Well, what led him to do that?
I don't know. I'm innocent. Halo. I don't know. I'm a nice kind of guy.
This is a fine performance you're putting on here, Reggie. But you have to admit, whatever you did turned the game around.
Well, we won. That's all that matters. We won.
Do you believe, as an Indiana Pacer, that this series could be a little bit different now? If things had gone differently in New York, is that part of your thought process here? A little frustrating?
If I woulda, coulda, shouldas, But we're still down. They only got one game to go. They got to win one of the next two. So our backs are still against the wall.
What'd you learn about your team tonight?
Got a lot of heart, a lot of desire. And we're not going to back down. They thought this was going to be a cakewalk, but Pacers are for real. We're going to be here. One last question. When you left the game, you had a couple of things to say to the Knicks bench. You were quite fired up. Bob Hill helped to pull you off the floor. What kind of message did you have to give the Knicks when this game was over? See them on Thursday. They're out here playing hard. We're out here playing hard, and it's a good series. Everyone else around the league. See, look at you. Look all crazy. Everyone else around the league. I'm not crazy, Reggie, but you just don't look like you're complimenting them here. See you on Thursday. Okay, see you on Thursday. All right, Reggie. Thanks very much. That's Reggie Miller.